Welcome back to Season 2 of the Why Mindset Matters podcast. I'm Eslana Loa. I'm an author, speaker, resilience mindset coach. I'm a nurse, a midwife, and a mother of 4. If this is somehow the first episode of mine that you found, I do want to start by providing a trigger warning. I do discuss the loss of my teenage daughter, Riley, to suicide. But today, I'm so excited to have essentially my first ever guest on the podcast, Darcy. So welcome.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful to have you here. And this episode is sponsored by
DRC Fit.
DRC Fit.
I'm happy to help you. You're good. Good human.
And in this beautiful studio that I have to actually shout out to Nest in Burleigh on the Gold Coast, which I'm so grateful to be here too.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming.
All good.
I wanted to start by discussing the fact that I think if people didn't know who you are, if they haven't seen your social media or your website and they just judged a book by its cover, say, to look at you and how you show up in life, it would be easy to go, he's just killing it. He is successful in business. You've got a beautiful wife. You look amazing. And if we did just judge the book by its cover, then we lose the opportunity to reflect on the fact that you've had to claw your way out 100%. Of the depths of hell, back from trauma, addiction, to become and build this life that you now love
100%.
And must be proud of, because I'm proud to even know you. I'm
very proud, yeah.
But I wanted to kind of touch base on what was the low point, that pivotal moment for you that meant something's got to change.
Something's got to change. I had many low points along my journey. Like with addiction, everyone knows it's not just one you get, like, I'm going to get sober today. You know, it doesn't start like that. But I started off very young using and stuff like that, with obviously being bullied and insecure as a kid. I was a fat kid in school. I had no friends, wasn't accepted for who I was, and just felt like I wasn't enough and felt like something was wrong with me at a very young age. So went down a path of obviously not fitting in, and then going down the path of wanting to fit in. And then when you want to fit in, you'll do anything you can. As a human, we all want to fit in. We all want to have friends. We all want to be accepted. And as I said, if we're not accepted for who we are, a lot of people change who we are. We change our values. We change what we do. We change, even me, like going down the path of crime and everything I did, and into drugs so young. It's just, I started using when I was like 11. So I fell into drugs very young. But that's because I just wanted to have friends. And I wasn't accepted in the circles. So I was accepted with the kids that obviously were using drugs, that were wagging, that were the rebels in school. That's where I fit in, because that's where I was accepted, because that's where I wasn't judged for being me. You know?
And I think it's that comes back to that basic human need for connection. And especially for men and boys, like if a boy isn't feeling that basic human need for connection is fulfilled either at home or in their school life, it's such an easy path to then slip into, because, you know, and misery loves company. So they'll be like, come on, bro, come this way.
You're all just doing the wrong thing. But I come from a great family. Like my mum and dad, my mum passed now, but mum and dad were together. Like they tried getting me on the right path. But my family, I took my family for granted most of my life, you know, because they were just always there. It was normal. You know, it's like little things with gratitude. These days I focus on is, you know, grateful for the little things, which are actually the big things, which I never realised. You know, being able to hug a loved one, being able to be there for a loved one, being able to support the people you love. Okay, little things, sleep in a nice warm bed, all these little things that we all take for granted. I took for granted when I was younger, but I come from a great family, but I didn't have that friend group. So I fell into the wrong crowd. You know, there's a lot of people that say, you know, oh, it's the parents' fault and shit like this. And same thing with you losing your daughter, you'd put blame on yourself. Okay, but it's never their fault. Okay, we all make our own choices. Even as kids, as teenagers, we all make our own choices.
And especially as a teenager, I think the vulnerability, because knowing, much like your parents would have felt, like we did everything to be so conscious and present and loving, and didn't take the little things for granted. So the beauty of navigating unimaginable grief and loss after losing Riley is that I had those gratitude moments of I was so present. I was, you know, really there telling her how much I love her the night before she died and things like that. And I'm grateful that I have those. But I can appreciate how vulnerable, especially in the teen years and preteen years, it is that regardless of what's happening at home, you can only love your children so much, but they're always going to seek something kind of outside and that connection outside and in a peer group. And it has such
accepted.
100%. And I guess I wonder if in rebuilding yourself. And like you said, there's not going to be one moment, because there's many times, especially through facing addiction and stuff, that you might stumble and fall and have to pick yourself back up and everything. But I hope that you know what a fucking gift you are to the world. Because the way that you show up and the capacity you have to be unapologetically and authentically you is something that is too rare, I think. And when you come across people like us, it's such a fucking gift. It's so valuable, and it's so easy for me to appreciate it, because I know that that's not always an easy thing to do. But I know that you are having a bigger impact than you probably realize, because even when I joined World Gym after losing Riley, and I'd go to the gym and I'd have my headphones in and I wouldn't look up, and I was just there to not die. I wasn't like, I was just trying to lift shit, because I knew that would kind of keep me semi near the head above water. But I don't know if it's the algorithm, because our phones were in close proximity, but my phone was like, bitch, you know what you need on your Instagram feed? Darcy. DRC Fit, so you're there throwing coffee on yourself in the shower. And I was like, this is a lot. And so I click through and I go to your page and I see the story about how you tried to take your life. And so it broke down the barriers. And you, being a lot, got my attention. It got me to go to your page. It broke down the barriers that the next time I was at the gym, and I happened to be in a really dark place at that time. I remember coming up to you, I don't know if you remember this, and introducing myself and saying that I had lost my daughter to suicide, and that I just wanted to say, on behalf of everybody who loves you, everybody who will get to love you in life, thank you so much for still being here in this life, and for the courage and strength that it takes to claw your way back from the depths of hell, like 100%. You have, and probably many times. And I just hope that you slow your roll and own your wins and celebrate yourself occasionally.
I remember when you came up and like introduced yourself, and you said you lost your daughter in that, and it's that's what I do. What I do for is that people see the coffee on the face, and then people say they want to do things to help people, but I genuinely want to help people. Even I said to you when I first seen you, just like, no matter what it is, you feel these feelings now, they will pass. They'll always be there. They'll come and go, and just every day you're in here making her proud, and that's what she'd want. And you just sat back and your eyes well opened up a bit, and you're like, you're right, and you're just starting to change it. It's a negative thing, yes, but we can look at positives, which I said to you. Even when you said to me it's your daughter's birthday coming up that you lost, and you're like, I don't know what to do, I don't. And I'm like, get a fucking cake. Yeah. Celebrate it. Celebrate her life. Why push that aside? Yeah. And you're like, fucking oath, I will. And you did. And you came and you're like, I fucking did it. I'm like, fucking good.
But I think too, like when I reflect on how you show up, breaking down those barriers, me connecting with you in the gym, and then having enough of a rapport that meant I could talk to you on those darker times, that I had somebody to approach, meant that you actually have had a positive effect on more than you realize, in that I reckon there's times you saved my life. And because I've realised in the aftermath of unimaginable grief and trauma like this is how you not just survive but thrive is a lot to do with, yes, of course, your mindset and everything, but equal parts your circle, your sense of community, the people you surround yourself with, because there will be times where you feel like you're drowning and you can't get your head above water. And it's the people around you that are going to lift you up until you can get that life-saving breath and then remind you that you've got this, you know. And I think that because of the way that I show up and I've been able to rebuild myself and I'm the happiest I've ever been, but having that sense of community means people like yourself will notice when I'm not that bubbly. You're like, you okay?
You're right. Yeah, I can read energy really well. That's what I do. Like all my coaching and mentoring with people, I work with people that have lost loved ones, that have losing their families with drugs and alcohol and addiction. That's my niche. That's who I help. I can't relate to someone who's not really struggling. See, I can relate to these people, and I've been there for many people, and I know that I'm not just changing lives. I know I'm saving lives. Like the impact I get with messages from people and the calls I have with people I'm mentoring, this like, man, without you I wouldn't be here. Like, literally people were saying like a week before they started with me and did my mentoring, they had all the pills ready, they had the noose ready. They said that like they were ready to take their own life until they gave this last little bit of hope with me because they seen what I do. And that's what I do. I am hope. That's what my whole message is, and everything I do is I'm hope for people who are struggling, because there's a massive stigma around addiction where you have addiction is a struggle. If you're an addict, you're going through, you lose everything you love and you've got to struggle forever. I'm going through recovery, this and that. You can get to your best. And that's what I'm trying to show people, that you don't have to struggle in addiction. You can use that to become your best. I struggled with addiction my whole life, but I turned it not into a struggle, into my fucking superpower. And I'll outwork anyone. Okay. And that's what I'm just trying to inspire other people to do, because all the people I mentor and I teach, all the stuff that I teach people to, they work their fucking ass off and they outwork anyone. You know, and when they put their mind at things like that, you'll outwork anyone. It's just such a negative stigma, and that's what I'm trying to break. It's not just get through another day sober. It's like win your day being sober.
And I like that it's also not just get through another day of training or get your body looking better. And I love that the other part of your niche, if you like, because you don't come across it enough, is that, yes, you're a PT, yes, you'll help them with the physicality of training and, you know, a workout regime and stuff and the nutrition, but you do the mindset stuff. Yeah. And I think that feel so privileged to be in an era of my life where I get to see the transformation from back in the day where there was so much stigma associated with our mental health, or they've got mental health issues, or they're this. We all have mental health. We have not, but I mean, if we actually acknowledge, and we're starting to, that yes, you've got your physicality, and if you were bleeding, you'd go and get medical attention with urgency. If your bone was broken, you'd get a cast or surgery. You'd do all of the. If you had an infection, you would take antibiotics without any issue. But then we have equal part, if not more, that we need to look after our mental health and well-being and our mindset, because let's be real, the physicality of our health is so significantly impacted by what happens up here and the lens through which we view our life and all of these things that affect our physiology, because it's not chicken and the egg shit. I didn't kind of have all of this unrest and not being well, but then there's no tide. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And so I love that, especially because you're taking people who are battling addiction or who have been or are in the darkest place in their life. Yeah. It wouldn't be enough. It wouldn't be enough. Come lift some heavy shit. Yeah, that's going to release feel-good hormones, but it's not going to address the cravings or the grief or the, you know. And so I love that. You're the whole kind of package with regards to the mindset.
That's all the mindset stuff saved my life, the routine, structure. That's why, when do I ever miss a day throwing a coffee on my face? Yeah. Okay, it's stupid, but you see me every day of the fucking year do it. And that's what I'm trying to say is the routine and structure I found in jail, I kept. I didn't come out and I go party. I kept what was making me happy, kept what was making me happy in my life, which was my routine, structuring my days, waking up on time, doing the right things, cold showers, meditation, gratitude, all that sort of shit that everyone's like, oh, this fuck. Oh, once people get like, they start becoming happy, people get comfortable on the little things. And this is what I did my whole life. Okay, as soon as I started feeling good, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll reward myself. I'll go back to everything that destroyed myself. We reward ourselves with
so
taking away our happiness.
Yeah. And then you're just self-sabotaging without realising it. And then it's an easy downward spiral because then you're beating yourself up if you're not in charge of this. Yeah.
That's why I stay in charge. Every day, I preach this in many reels, but every day is day one. I still treat today like the day I changed my life. And
I was going to ask you, what is one but one valuable mindset shift or daily practice that you would suggest to people who may be in the depths of darkness or struggling, or maybe they even feel like they're killing it right now, but what would be something that you would suggest? Even for me, if I said to you, what could I do as a simple thing every day that's going to help me kind of take ownership over this journey?
Going all in on your day is super important. Not just getting through your day. You need to go all in on it in every aspect you can. Yes, you might be tired at the end of the day, but when you get to the end of the day after going all in on your day, you look back at your day and you're like, fuck yeah, I'm proud of what I've done. I achieved all these things. I'm moving forward. Yeah. When you don't, you get struggle. You don't go to gym. You don't wake up on time. You miss small things. You get to the end of the day and you look back and you're like, thank fuck, that's over. You know, the difference in that mindset of winning a day and getting through your day is so different. So winning your days matters most.
It's such a spiral. Like if I don't sleep well, then I'm tired and I think I need to sleep in the next day, but I might then skip the class in the morning or whatever I was going to do, and then I'm dragging my feet through the day and I think I need coffee to get, and then it's a vicious cycle.
If you would have woke up that morning when you were tired, got through that day and pushed yourself through that one day, you would have slept like a baby that next night.
And this is the thing. So I would be living on coffee, dragging my ass through the day, then not able to sleep because I had fucking coffee. So then I need melatonin and I'm not going to bed before 1 a.m. Then I'm tired the next day, so I need a coffee. And I was only thinking about this. So this conversation is supposed to happen for me, if not everybody else. But I was only thinking about, okay, what am I going to do? Something needs to change because I feel like I'm in a bit of a rut of dragging myself through days. And I think that's it.
You won't win in your morning. You won't force yourself to go all in again, which anyone can.
100%.
There's people out there dying from fucking cancer doing more than most of us.
Yeah.
You know, they're watching my mum battle cancer. I was in the other gym another day. I made a video of it where I was crying. I literally seen a woman in the gym the other day with the cancer bandana on, doing ball slams, doing sit-ups. And I went up to her and I was like, I've got to speak to this lady. I went up to this lady and I said, I just want to let you know that you've inspired me to have a good day. You're a fucking inspiration. Yeah. And then I said, I lost my mum about 7 months ago from cancer. And to see someone in here like yourself that's doing what you're doing, I understand the battle you're going through. I've seen it firsthand and I respect what you're doing. And she just said, it literally, like I was talking to my mum, what triggered me is she responded to me just like my mum. It was like my mum was in front of me. She's like, thanks so much, Darl. And that's what mum always used to say. So it's like I was speaking to my mum and I started crying. I'm like, you know, you're an amazing human. Gave her a big hug and she started crying. And then I just left the gym and I'm just like, I could have spoke to mum. And that's why it sort of triggered me because, one, it inspired me, seeing someone there getting it done, which just shows everyone's excuses are fucking weak as piss.
Yeah.
Like,
and we do it. We can excuse any. We can find a reason to validate ourselves lazy, on anything. Not doing it,
okay, but you never see a cancer battle, you never see anyone battling cancer complain or show any weakness or make an excuse. They get up every day for the ones they love. They put a smile on their face and they fight every day with a smile on their face and they get what they need to do done. They never complain, ever. Show me one person that's so strong, okay, but someone coming down or someone creating excuses or fucking using and shit like this. They go, my life's so hard, and they sleep in a nice warm bed, healthy, order Uber Eats and watch Netflix. Get over it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm passionate about it because I hate it. I have not made an excuse, and I've been sober 2,695 days now.
So good.
And I've not made one excuse in those days, not one sleep in, not one justifying anything, not one weak choice. A big thing I go on about, I know weak is a very powerful word, but weak mindset, weak choices. Weak mindsets allow things in. Weak mindsets justify things. Okay, I've not been weak in that long because I've seen my mum battle her cancer treatment and she was not weak one day. Okay, and what's my excuse? What, I'm a bit tired, get up. Yeah. Okay, I've been fucking grinding my whole life. I've been grinding for so long now and I've had my days that I'm tired, but I pushed through, I went to bed, I woke up and I kept winning because I was inspired by people that are actually really struggling.
And it's interesting because when I reflect on it's been nearly 3 years since I lost Riley and witnessed her death, but I just felt like you don't have a choice. You got to get up. You got to walk back through the flame. You got to do this for you and those girls, and not just you got to do it for you girls. I got to do it for me. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to live. And I don't want them to hurt more than they need to. But it's interesting because I got to this. I've prided myself after a lifetime of abuse and neglect in my childhood and all these horrible things of not being the sum of my origins, not being defined by where I came from or anything that had happened to me. And I wasn't going to let this be any different. But there was one point there where I was like, fuck this. Why me? Why did life have to be so unkind? Like I really thought I was going to catch a break now. I was in my 40s. And I had that momentary just why me? And I think it made me realize that a lot of people get stuck there kind of permanently, but it was interesting because I'd made so much of a concerted effort to not go to that place that when I went there I was like, well, hang on a minute. All the things you've been through primed you with this resilience to be the fucking weapon that you are today, that you are powering through the flames day in and day out. And I love my life. In that momentary why me, I just kind of pulled my socks up and went, come on, bitch. I know now that I've sat in why me, I've realized this sucks. This does not feel good at all. It's not a reward. I don't want to stay here. And so I pulled my socks up and I got the fuck on with it. And I decided that wasn't a place I was going to go to again. And I think that when you say it would be easy for people who may be stuck in a perception that life is happening to them, not for them. Yeah. Or this victim mentality they didn't know they had taken on. And this is the thing, when you villainize anyone or anything in your life, in order for there to be a villain, there has to be a victim. So you might think I'm not playing the victim, but if you're talking about the people who did you wrong or this, that, or the other, in order for them to have the power of the label of villain, you've assumed the role of victim. And so I had to realize that too, that I can't demonize people in my story. I just have to let it be what it is 100%. And work out who I'm going to be in response to that. And so the point I'm trying to make is it's confronting. It's uncomfortable to actually take ownership and accountability for the ways that we villainize people or make excuses or choose the weaker option in that, shit's happening to me or whatever it is. It is a choice.
That's that's what I came to that realization when I was sitting in jail. I'm like, I got me here.
Yes.
All my struggles were my fault. That's why another thing I go on about is your struggles, your fault. That's how I talk to myself. I was sitting in jail and I got me there. You know, I choose to allow things in. I choose to destroy my family. I choose to put drugs over my family. I chose that life, and that was my fault. It wasn't my life being hard. It wasn't being bullied. It wasn't, we can blame our traumas on that, but I allowed things in. I escaped. I used drugs to find happiness, and it did work at the start because drugs made me happy at the start, but it made me numb, not happy. You know, and that's when I found drugs was my happiness, making friends, fitting in, living life, getting through, coping. That's what drugs fix this. You know, and that's what, and then I come to the realization, started using when I was 11, went to jail at 23. I was using ice and cocaine that whole period. You know, I was a daily user of both at a lot of points in my life, relying on it to get out of bed, relying on it to function, relying on it to go do shit. And I got to sitting in jail and my mind started to clear. I'm like, this is all me, and I took ownership of my shit. And I'm like, I need to make changes now. No one's going to come to save me.
Nah,
you know, I've got to build this life. I've got to make my family proud. I've got to make mum proud before she dies. I've got shit I need to start doing. And then I started fucking doing it.
And how amazing that you did it. So many people scramble in the aftermath of trying to, like, it's kind of like when we have a celebration of life. You know, we have this attempt at translating or transmuting all the love and appreciation and admiration we have for someone. There's nothing wrong with having a celebration of life. I'm grateful that we have that option rather than a funeral, but it's much like sometimes it takes the significant loss for us to turn our life around and then go, I'm spending the rest of my days hoping that I make my mum in the afterlife proud. But there's so much beauty, and that's what I meant before by I hope you slow your roll and own your wins and really actually give yourself the time, space and permission to have that moment of like, fuck yeah, Darcy, look at you. Because
I do get caught up in grinding, and I don't really look
But
back.
I think too, because I've been reflecting, I didn't know before I lost Riley that the stats on suicide, that we lose 9 people in this country every day to suicide, and 6 of them are men. I would believe that because I've worked in the men's mental health space in nursing and midwifery for many years, and it breaks my heart that there are that many people who not just have their hand on the doorknob of exiting this life, but actually follow through. And I saw a post the other day that said globally we lose 60 men every hour. Which is horrific because we have all of these incredible humans who haven't tapped into the full potential of their authenticity and how to show up, and we lose them. And I was reflecting too on, I think we could all do this better, but I think men probably struggle with it even more, is that we set goals in life. And when we set a goal, let's say you were coming out of prison and you were going to get your shit sorted and your body in shape and all of these things, you would have looked at this version of you now and been like either unattainable or fuck yes, that's what I want in my future. But there's an aspect of setting goals that feels like this is a big deal. And as we start to tap into the power and capacity we have to succeed, what happens is we get close to achieving that goal and we do achieve it and we don't stop, slow our roll or celebrate because we've already moved the goalpost. And it's a double-edged sort of success because when you start succeeding, you go, oh fuck, I can do that, but I can do this too. So we start realizing our potential and we make these bigger and better goals. But I think where we lose a lot of the value and beauty of goal setting and success is that we don't stop along the way. Because there would be a previous version of you that thought this was out of reach or hoped that you would find yourself here, whether it's your wife or being able to make your mum proud, like all of these things that you've done with your life. And let's just take it down to the simplicity of your personal life, but then look at what you're fucking doing. Like you've saved my daughter's life by being in my life, and you got it to be in my life by showing up authentically as you online. And I have tried to teach my teenage girls, it was one of the early lessons that I wanted to translate to them, is one of the greatest gifts that you can give yourself is work out who the fuck you are and then be that person in every room you walk into.
Who you want to be.
And they were like, what do you mean? And I said, you know how I'm a lot? And they're like, yeah. I said, well, I'm a lot in every room I walk into. And I rattled off a heap of contrasting situations from grandma to work, whatever. And they're like, oh yeah, like you are that person. And I said, if you work out who you are and then show up as that person, you'll find your people. You'll find yourself in rooms that don't serve you and you'll have the capacity to leave. But what you won't be doing is bending and flexing to the room to try and fit in or have people accept you. And I think that your capacity to do that deserves recognition.
I don't need validation by anyone. I'll just live my life now just making my mum proud every day.
Yes.
And when I live with that purpose, life works for me. You know, I've always been, and I live how she lived, being strong, kind to other people, never spoke a bad word about anyone. I never put anyone down. I never speak badly about anyone. Someone's got an opinion on me, sweet as, I don't care. Like, I love myself. I love my life. I love all the people around me. I'm helping a lot of people. There's literally no negatives in my life. Like, I literally had it at the moment, like a while back, where I was bottling up stuff about mum, like, because I lost her, then, like, days, like, I was sad for obviously weeks after. I was crying every day and stuff like that. But then I got to the point where I'm like, nah, I'm going to shut this off. Okay, mum will be strong. I've got to be strong too, and I shut that out. And I bottled that up, and I just held on to it, and I just let it out again. But I'm just like, you know, you just got to be your best self, and I just started living for her, and that's when I just started to become, you know, really happy. And then I let out my emotions when they come. You don't have to, you know, put this mask on, you know. But I let that out.
And I think that's where we could probably do better as a culture and society is we're trying to say it's okay to not be okay. But is it? Is it? Because I know the times when I've gone or people will go, are you all right in my grief? And I'm like, I'm not all right. Because some days you're not.
It comes in waves.
Some days you don't see it coming and you're like, today's a bitch.
Yeah.
and it's interesting how many people are not okay with your not okayness in that if I say I'm not okay, there's a big difference between today sucks a bag of dicks and I'm actually not okay and I'm in a situational crisis and I need help.
Yeah.
And I think if we could sit with that you're not okay, is there anything that I can do, or do you just need a fucking hug where words don't need to be, you know?
I think you just got to let those, how I dealt with it, I let the feelings out. I sat with the feelings instead of pushing them down. I sat with the feelings, I cried, I let it out. I'm like, you know what, as I said, I writ down all these, something was wrong with me for weeks after I was bottling shit up, and I writ down a list of pros and cons of my life.
Yeah.
There was no cons.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong? And then I just realised, I'm just like, I just want to FaceTime my mum. I just want to hug my mum one more time. I just want to speak to her. Like, I used to FaceTime her every day, you know, and just tell her how good I'm doing and let her know. So even it's like, I speak to her every day now. You know, I always speak to her every morning. I have her ashes on my bench and shit. I speak to her every day. And, you know, it's just having all those pros and cons. I was like, there's no cons, but I was just bottling shit up and I was like, fuck, it's okay to not be okay one day.
100%. And some days, like, obviously I want Riley back, but then there's some days where I'm like, I remember just being in tears and going, I'm not even being greedy. I'm not saying I want a lifetime. I just want to hold her. I just want to touch her hair or just hold her, have her lay in my arms and tell me about her day, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be able to talk about all the unexpressed love that I have that has not nowhere to go, but really kind of nowhere to go without being emotional or teary. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's the capacity to honour the love, the grief, the sadness, the life that we're living, because I've always said to the girls that it's so important to acknowledge your emotions, whatever they are, allow them to be, validate them if they're valid, but then it becomes a choice whether or not you stay there. And that's the difference between being a victim or not, because by allowing it, we don't push it down, repress it, and then, because the body's going to keep the score. That's going to fuck you up. If you're just like, I'm fine, I'm all right with my mum not being here. Your body's going to go, fuck you, you're not fine in one way or another. Illness or disease or whatever it is, or injury, whatever, like the body's going to keep the score. So I think that one of the most beautiful things that we can gift ourselves is the acknowledgement of our state of being.
100%, yeah.
And then realise that, but now it's a choice what I do from here. Because if I'm going to be like, okay, sadness needs to be sat with, I need a good fucking cry.
Yep.
But then I play sad songs.
Yeah.
And then I don't get out of bed. And then I don't go to the gym. And like, I've fed and watered, and this is something that I talk about regularly, is you're not responsible for every thought that pops into your mind, but you are responsible for what you do with it. So whilst the thoughts can pop in about Riley's 18th birthday not being here, or your mum and you wanting to hug her or whatever, but then we feed and water thoughts of sadness and everything that isn't, or that we're going to miss out on. We create the release of the hormones that make us feel the way we're thinking. It's not chicken and the egg shit. People think, oh, but I was feeling depressed. No, you were thinking. You were thinking, and then you behaved in a way that aligned that, and then you release hormones that facilitate you feeling that way. And like you said, I think the realization for me in needing to kick my own ass at this point in my life and this week is that I went to Bali for 2 weeks, finished my book, got all that done. But what I realised is we have so many, I was like, I had 60 hours in the day. I got so much shit done. I barely slept, but I was like, we kept saying, oh, these days go so fast. It's like midnight already.
Yeah,
we were living a whole holiday, but I was editing my book. I was doing all these things, and it made me realize how many excuses we make, how many things we let get in the way of our productivity, because we spend our life racing from one thing to the next. But in the racing, we lose so much of our life because we're not kind of as present and then present. And so I did come back kind of knowing, probably you on my shoulder going, get up earlier, bitch.
Yeah, get up and get back
Make more use out of your day. You had 60 hours in a day in Bali. What the fuck are you doing over here saying you're too tired for the gym?
100%. But we all waste our life on social media and everything too. That's another big excuse. People can't get up early, but they sit on their phone all night or they watch TV every night. What the fuck's the point?
And or even I think about it. I wasn't on Netflix. I wasn't on anything in Bali.
Time.
I got shit done. I felt like a fucking boss. I was just...
That's how I've felt for fucking 7 years.
Yeah. And that's what I think I've felt a bit down about coming back as I slipped back into... I'm still getting a lot of shit done, but I feel bloated and tired, and I'm not putting as much effort into the gym, and I'm not eating well, and it's a vicious cycle. I'm like,
because of stuff you're choosing in.
Hey,
you're making choices that make you feel like that, though.
And then who needs enemies when you go this? You're your own worst enemy because you sabotage and you staying up late at night and making poor food choices, and then the caffeine and staying in bed when you could have got up earlier.
Exactly.
And my brain goes, but I'm already really tired. But again, it's taking accountability and responsibility for the fact that, bitch, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing?
I know.
You got Darcy in your corner? You're going to start training with him? Look out. Summer body pending.
100%.
So good. But I'm grateful for the parts of this conversation that I know are going to ring in my head and help me.
Yeah,
because
good.
I love the way that you show up. I know I keep saying it. I'm very grateful for everything about you because you're having a bigger impact in my journey than you'll probably ever realize. And I know that your mum must just be so fucking proud, and I'm so happy that she got to be physically proud in this life, not just sitting in the corporate box of the afterlife watching and fangirling you from the side.
I know. But that's what my biggest fear was in jail. Like I said goodbye to mum on the jail phone. Like she was going through treatments and that while I was in jail, and every day I'd speak to her and if I don't hear from you tomorrow, I love you. You know what I mean? Like I said. And I accepted that she was going to pass while I was in there. And I'm like, no matter what, I'm still not going to let it break me. I'm going to make her proud every day. But I believe when I started doing good, the universe rewarded me with giving her more life. So that way you do good things happen. I'm a massive believer in that. And I believe because I changed my life and the universe actually knew that I was set in stone and changing this time and I was building those habits and sticking to everything. Even in jail, I stuck to everything every fucking day. And I feel like because I was doing those things, the universe rewarded me with more time with my mum.
Yeah,
and I'm a massive believer in you do good life. You start going all in on yourself. You work on you. Life works for you eventually.
100%.
Like in time, you notice little things will start working out. Little fucking opportunities will start popping up that you never thought was possible.
And you know what's funny is because I've got a lot of my life in alignment like that, and I started saying yes to life in the aftermath of grief, and I started saying yes to things I didn't even necessarily know what I was showing up for, but I was like, you know what, you said you wanted more connection and friendship and these beautiful relationships in your life, but then how often do opportunities arise and we're like, oh, no, thank you. And it's like, bitch, the universe thing, bitch, I just opened the door for everything you said you wanted. And you're not saying yes. So I started saying yes and I'm just reaping the rewards. But then the other thing that I've realized is that even when things aren't working out, they're always working out. And I've had things that it gives you such a more comfortable ride in life in that what I mean, an example is I said that I wanted to manifest a whole road of myself on the plane that I was going to take. And then I got a message saying that they'd bumped me from Jetstar to Qantas. Not mad because Qantas is heaps
way
better.
Yeah.
And then I got a message as I was leaving for the airport that my flight was delayed. Not mad. I would never complain about a flight being delayed because I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I'd rather be safe on the ground than risk in the air. So I'll never complain. Get to the airport. It gets delayed like 3 more times. All these things that could irritate the fuck out of you, right? I'm like, whatever. I'm here. I'm about to go away. And then people line up to get on the plane. And they line up for ages. So I just wait until everyone's on there because then you're not in my way and I find my seat, right? So I walk onto this plane. I know I'm the last one getting on the fucking plane and there's a whole row to it and then this is my seats, right? And so I sit down on a packed plane and and they shut the doors, so I know I've got the whole road.
Yeah.
And all I could think was, I put it out there into the universe, this is what I want. I want this. And the universe goes, hang on a minute, darling.
I'm going to challenge you first.
That's not going to happen on Jetstar. Let me bump you. And then you could see it as universe challenging me, but really it was just aligning what I said I wanted. And so I could feel challenged, I could feel irritated or inconvenienced, or I could just lean into the fact that I'm manifesting like a fucking superhero. And then let's say the universe went, well, I've got to irritate some other people by delaying that they don't get on this flight. And then you've got seats. And regardless of what it is, I find that when things aren't working out, it's so they can work out a bit better. And so now I just lean into, I'm showing up, I'm in alignment, I'm doing all the right things. So if something isn't working, I'm not going to try and force it. Because it makes it a much nicer, more comfortable ride. And as somebody whose childhood was riddled with abuse and neglect and horrible shit, I said that I just wanted to be the mother of boys because I didn't want the responsibility of parenting girls because if my own mum couldn't protect me, I didn't want that. And I was so traumatized and so angry that I came to parenting with this denial that there was any possibility that I was going to have daughters. I was like, I'm going to have boys. I want 6 kids and they're all going to be boys. And life gifted me a son. But then when I was pregnant with Riley, there was no penis on the ultrasound. I cried for a month. I was like, what am I going to do with a girl? And then I felt bad for crying because all I wanted was to be a mum. So I'm like, I'm supposed to be happy now. I feel guilty. I had 3 girls. And I always said that if we got everything we thought we wanted in life, we'd miss out on so much. That you can arrogantly and ignorantly think you can make plans for your life, but the best thing you can do is act with intention and show up in a way that is kind to yourself and others. And just kind of trust that life has its own plan for us because Riley came to teach me about love and about self-love that I never would have known if it wasn't for being a parent to girls. And each one softened me more and more and showed me a love I never would have known if I got what I thought I wanted. And so I'm loving my life. I'm loving the things that work out, the things that aren't working out. And I'm so trusting of this journey because if I had said to the lady who planned her celebration of life, if I had known that Riley was only on loan to me for 15 years, I wouldn't have done anything differently. I loved her with every fibre of my being and she knew that. And I think, like you said, with showing up and wanting to make your mum proud and being really consciously invested in who you are and how you show up, it means that you're not going to avoid the inevitable storms or challenges in your life, but you are going to be able to navigate them with an element of, not that they'll be easy, but with an element of ease because you're not living with that added layer of regret.
But then I'm still making her proud every day. Even if challenges come, I'll still work around and make her proud.
It's so good because you've just solidified it and you've got who you are set in stone. And even when I see your stories and, your writings and affirmations about, and just the accountability, I love that you keep yourself publicly accountable.
100%. That's why I'm showing everyone. So this is the routine, instructional things. I don't let myself get comfortable. I don't let myself slip because I know with my past, as soon as I let my routine or myself or my mindset slip, I slip. You need to be focused on what really matters every day because as soon as we're not focused on what really matters, we don't keep our mindset on really matters, we fall out. We allow things in that destroy everything that really matters, which is your happiness, self-love, your family, making people proud, all the things that really matter. When we allow alcohol, drugs or anything like that, that's choosing that over what really matters because we let our mindset slip. So I always align myself with what really matters, which is making my mum proud, me being happy, waking up happy, making my family proud, being proud of who I am, helping people, all these things. That's why all my choices align with what really matters every day because I remind myself what really matters to me. Alcohol and drugs don't really matter to me. Being numb, escaping, being sad, depressed does not really matter to me. But this is what people allow in as more important as when we let our mindset slip. So 100%. That's why I stay focused on what really matters every day to me.
And it was interesting you said, I'd tried drugs and it showed me what it meant to feel happy. It showed you what it felt like to feel the release of feel-good hormones. And that's where I think we get confused and go down the path of drugs because we want to feel those feel-good hormones. But when we can take ownership over our mindset and create this life where we get to experience those feel-good hormones without the come down and paying the negative price, it's so rewarding. But if there was someone out there who's struggling, particularly a guy, because let's face it, we're losing way too many, what would be your number one message. If he's in the depths of it and he's literally got his hand on the door ready to exit this life because he thinks in some way either he or his friends or loved ones would be better off without him here.
That's a lot. We say that to ourselves. That's what I said to myself before I tried taking my own life, is everyone's better off without me. That's how I justified it. But one thing I would say is stop justifying everything. Stop justifying things and stop anything you justify as a negative. Alcohol, drugs, even all that sort of shit creates a negative. You know, we don't justify positive things. You don't justify, having a clean meal. You don't justify going to gym. You don't justify time spent with your family. You don't justify making your family proud, etc. You do it because it's common sense, but you just need to go all in on yourself. As I said before, go all in and treat every day like day one. Like, what you're doing is not working. Yeah? Okay, but what are you doing to make that change? We can all shift where we are. I did it. Okay, I'm no different to everyone else out there. I walk on the same earth. I breathe the same air. I've got the same amount of hours during the day. Okay, I'm the exact same, but I decided to go all into myself and do the things that I knew that were going to benefit me. And I gave it time. I didn't just do it for a couple of days. I stayed on track and I kept focusing on each day and winning every day. And I went all in, and every day I woke up that little bit happier. Every day I started to achieve things. Every day I started to move forward. And in time, life will start to get better when you start to work on yourself. When you work on you, as I said, life will start rewarding you.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay, so give it one more chance and just go all in on your day. Forgive it 1 week and go all in every day.
And reach out, I reckon. I think it's, you, like we said, it's who you put yourself around too. Because sometimes that feels like, oh yeah, that's easy for you to say because you've got people in your corner. But I think there's never been a better time where there's so many people and resources and services that want to help people who are in a dark place. And
people push away people when people are going through addiction and in that spot, they think they're alone.
Yes.
Yeah, but
any suffering, you tell yourself the narrative of no one else is going to understand my pain or my this or that or the other. And the reality is, as somebody who has lost someone who was to suicide, who I'm sure was convinced that everybody would be better off without me, nobody is better off. Nobody is better off on the other side of suicide. And there is nothing that we would not do to have her back and help her understand that everything is temporary, good, bad or ugly. Nothing stays the same, and that 100% there are people, services, so many people willing to wrap their arms around you and help you keep your head above water when you feel like you're going to drown. And so I think it's finding the capacity to open up to somebody so that you can start to facilitate a circle of support, because that's a big one. And I see you even in the gym giving that to people, not just people like me who wasn't even training with you, but I see the value that you bring to even the guys who train with you. They're fucking transformed. And it's not weights. Yeah, of course, they look better, they feel better, they look at themselves better. That's all nice, but it's not that. It's the sense of community. It's the connection that we talked about in the very beginning. It's a basic human need for connection. And so the other pieces of the puzzle are bonuses. Man, I look better. I feel better.
The body's a byproduct of change like that.
Yeah.
You go all in, you start doing the right things yourself, your body's eventually going to change. When you stop allowing things in, your body's going to change. So my transformations on my page, everything I do, they're just a byproduct of me getting people in the best mindset of their life. And that's what I thrive on. That's why I love bringing people up, making them start to love themselves, making them realise they've got a great life and opening their eyes a bit. And that's what I am. And I support everyone I help. Like, some people I help have no one. Some people I reach out to me, they don't have family. They don't have friends. They don't have anyone. And when, obviously, as I said before, when you're in addiction, you push people away that you love. You isolate yourself. We go into isolation, but you're isolating yourself. You're pushing people away. Those people aren't leaving you.
Yeah.
That's what I did. I
sometimes they're not even equipped to kind of help. Like, those closest to us sometimes feel like their hands are tied because...
Well, they are.
Yeah.
In addiction, your family can't do anything. My family tried to make me change. I get people reach out to me, message me, can you help my husband or my best mate or my brother, my sister, blah, blah, going through addiction. What do I do? And I'm like, ride the ride. Like, you've got to sit there, and that's the worst part about addiction is there's no magic sentence you can say to someone to make changes. No. Someone's got to hit that rock bottom. And you can't love them enough.
If love was the key, nobody would be addicted because
I had love all around me.
Yes, 100%.
But love didn't say. Love saved me in the end when I realised that I would make my mum proud, and that brought me back. But it's because they always stood by me. Mum never gave up on me. She was always, they had to step back. And that's because I kept doing whatever the fuck I wanted. And they're like, okay, we've tried to help changing him, we've tried helping him, but mum and dad had to step back. They stepped back and let me just ride my ride. But by the end of it, they were the one there for me when I hit my rock bottom. They were one. I have a message from my mum when I was on the run up in Cairns, and on the run from cops and all that sort of shit when I was in a bad way on the ice and that. I had a message from Mum saying, no matter what, I haven't replied to any of her messages because I was just on the run, just using every day. Like, I was bad crackhead. And then I was using every day, and then I had a message from Mum saying, one message saying, hey, Darcy, hope you're good. No matter what, your room's always here for you. Whenever, like, I love you heaps and hope you're okay. And then, I never replied to that message. I just kept using, but I've screenshotted that message, but that was what saved me, is them always being there, because I always, when I hit that rock bottom and I was sitting in jail, I'm like, you know what, I've still got people out there that love and care about me. I've still got a why,
Yeah, 100%. And I think all of that is why I felt like you would be the best first guest on my Mindset Matters.
100%.
So thank you so much. I feel really privileged and honoured to have you on the podcast.
Privileged to be the first. It's mad. It's good.
First of many, and hopefully get the podcast out to an even broader community.
You will. You will. You will.
I'm loving it. I'm loving the journey that I'm on. I'm loving every part of it, and I'm loving the connections that result because I started saying yes to life and looking up and
just go all in
and talking to people.
Yeah. Good.
So good. But yes, this is me being accountable for going all in moving forward. Now I got to kick my own ass. So I'm up early tomorrow.
I didn't sponsor this podcast for nothing, all right?
Yes, that's right. And I am a motivated Aries. So when I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to kick my own ass. So I look forward to, let's do another episode where I brag about my wins.
You get me on here when you've succeeded and done everything you meant to do, but you're already succeeding.
No, I know.
As you said, take a note out of your own book and focus on your wins.
Yeah. Okay? Yeah, true. And that has been something this week because
you just read a fucking book.
I know. And
I've never read a book in my fucking life, let alone write one.
Somebody did warn me that actually seeing my story in print and Riley's death might be confronting, and am I prepared for what that can bring up? Well, I found like you just did, and I was like, I'm fine. She doesn't know me. I've done the work. I'm good. I read that book in its entirety. It took me about 5 or 6 hours. The night that it came on Sunday. Yeah. And for about 36 hours afterwards, I wasn't okay. I was cunty. I was short with people. I was super fucking annoyed because everything that could go wrong felt like it was going wrong, and everybody was leaving me on red or not, being respectful or bringing any integrity to all the things that they were doing. And I was kind of like, but I have to. I have to show up as my best self. And I could feel, and I was trying to isolate myself for this feeling to go away because I didn't acknowledge that it was associated with everything coming to the surface, but I could feel that I was being short. And anyway, so I've had to sit with it, allow it to be, but then go, what are you doing? Are you going to pull yourself out of this place? And pulling myself out of the place became possible by acknowledging that was a lot. That was a lot. Life has been a lot. And it's even been a lot. I wrote a book, for fuck's sake. It's taken me nearly 3 years, but I chose life. I picked myself up. I walked back through the flames every day in a way that allowed me to rebuild myself and turn my pain into purpose and create this book that's called Resilience After Great Loss, Learning to Live and Grieve Simultaneously. And when I got a psychologist to read it, her feedback was, everyone should read this. This is incredible. It's so powerful. And like you said, am I taking my own advice? Because I've had it today on the way in. I was like, have you slowed your roll? Have you realized? Because I've noticed I was just on to the next thing. Like, okay, cool. Well, I'm planning the event in November and the fundraiser. And then it's like, it's a big deal. Like, you wrote a book. It doesn't have to be a big deal to anybody else. But if I, the younger version of me, had thought that I would be sitting here globally published on Amazon, it would have blown my mind. And so, yes, I need to take my own advice 100%. And facilitate a little bit of healthy pride and admiration for the successes and wins. But thank you for being willing to hold that mirror up to me.
It's all good.
It's definitely what makes the ride we call life and this roller coaster more enjoyable, is having the right people in your corner and in your circle. So thank you for being one of those.
All good. Pleasure.
Very privileged to know you and call you a friend.
I'm grateful and we met as well. It's all good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wrapped up?
For anyone who is listening or watching this episode of the podcast, I'm Eslana Lower. You can follow me on Instagram at Eslana Lower or at Resilience Mindset Coach. You can listen to the podcast on anywhere that you download your podcasts and YouTube as well. But I very much look forward to sharing everything that the future episodes have to offer on the podcast Why Mindset Matters. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. That was mad.
So good.